One, two, naive about business practices or you'll go broke. You cannot. Remember, you cannot be naive about business practices or you'll go broke. I've been reported that half of new businesses don't last 5 years. Yet a study by economist Bruce Kirchhoff showed that the failure rate is only 18% over the first 8 years. Kirchhoff contends that other reported failure rates are misinterpretations of Dun and Bradstreet statistics. When small business owners closed down one business to start another, for instance, they were included in the failure category even though they hadn't failed at all. Similarly, when a business changed its form of ownership or a sole proprietor retired, it was counted as failure. The good news of entrepreneurs is that business failures are much lower than traditionally reported. Figure 6.3 lists reasons for small business failures, among them managerial incompetence and, and, and inadequate financial planning. Companies, right, tend to fail due to managerial incompetence and inadequate financial planning. Keep in mind that when businesses fails, it is important that the owners learn from their mistakes. Some entrepreneurs who have suffered flops are more realistic than novice entrepreneurs. Because of lessons they've learned, they may be more successful in their future ventures. That's how I am when I played Pokemon when I first started it. Most of some people that I know quit the game after one or two games matches because they believed it was too difficult. Yet I did what the entrepreneur does. I learned from my mistakes. I tweaked the approach to the battles, and I become successful to the point that I barely suffer any failures. All right. Choosing the right type of business is critical. Many businesses with low failure rates require to start. Veterinary services, dental practices, medical practice. Like I already know this, but let's just write it down. Before starting the business, it is instead of saying important, let's use critical. It is critical that they use it too. All right, critical ad, that advanced training and expert. How do you spell that? Expertise is needed. All right. Veterinary services, dental practices, medical practices. The following are some of the causes of some business failures. The following are some of the causes of small business failures. Plunging in without first testing the waters on a small scale. Alright, plunging in without first testing the waters on a small scale. Don't go straight into the into business within the industry that you want to sell to. First, observe and learn from the industry environment, such as the population, such as the custom customer customers needs, wants, and expectations. The also also the competition, the competing companies, and our com- companies cap- capabilities. All right, this is critical. Let's do this one in red. All right, plunging in without first testing waters, underpricing or overpricing goods or services. I think I read this part, but it's okay. Underestimating how much time. Well, I took some melatonin and some sleepy time tea, and it seems like it is a little bit more difficult to remember stuff that I read while under that. Underestimating how much time it will take to build a market. Understanding how much time it will take to build a market. Know and gauge the amount of time it will take to acquire customers and a cycle of sales. All right. Starting with too little capital. All right, I get that. Starting with too much capital and being careless in its use. Going into business with little or no experience and without first learning something about the industry market, which is this right here. Borrowing money without planning just how and when to pay it back. Stay up to date. Keep track. Keep track of debts and loans and make sure to have the capital. I'll just say to keep it simple, to have the amount of money needed to pay it back. A at least a week or a month ahead of the due date. So I'm about to say about 2 months. Let's go with 4 months. It's 4 months. of at least 4 payments. All right. Keep track of debts. That. All right. All right. Where am I at? Attempting to do too much business with too little capital. All right. I can memorize that, but all right. Not following for setbacks and not allowing for setbacks and unexpected expenses. All right. Make sure to have income to have money to pay off unexpected unexpected expenses. All right. Buying too much on credit. Extending credit too freely. Don't go don't go into large debt without being able to pay it back. All right. Extending, where is it? Extending credit, all right. Expanding credit too rapidly. Failing to keep complete, accurate records. Failing to keep complete, accurate records. All right. Failing to keep complete, accurate records so that the owners drift into trouble without realizing. So that the owners don't drift? Failing to keep complete, accurate records so that the owner drift into trouble without realizing it. What? Oh no, that's what happens. I'm not saying not to do that, but that's what causes failure. So we're gonna say keep complete and accurate records so that the owner doesn't drift drift into financial trouble. Carrying habits of personal extravagance into business. Ha, I get it. Don't be flashy and spend all your money on things you don't need. Basically what it's saying. Not understanding business cycles. Yeah, I did go through this part. Understand business cycles. Forgetting about taxes, insurance, and other costs of business. Keep track of taxes, and insurance, insurance, and other costs of doing business. Mistaking the freedom of being in business for oneself, for the liberty to work or not, according to whim. To win? To whim. Alright. Stay focused and disciplined and work every day. Alright, that's good. 6.3. The following factors increase the chances of small business success. The customer requires a lot of personal attention, as in a beauty parlor. Not the product is not easily made by mass production techniques. Sales are not large enough to appeal to large firm. I read this part. While training and degrees may buy security, they do not tend to produce. One dentist can fill only so many cavities. If you want to be both independent and rich, you need to go after growth. After high growth businesses, such as technology firms, are not easy to start and are even more difficult to keep going. The easiest businesses to start have the least growth and greatest failure. I got to read that again. The easiest businesses to start have the least growth and greatest failure rates, like restaurants. The easiest to keep alive are difficult to get started, like manufacturing. And the ones that can make you rich are both hard to start and hard to keep going, like automobile assembly. See figure 6.4 to get an idea of the business situations most likely to lead to success. When you decide to start your own business, think carefully. You're unlikely to find everything you want, easy entry, security, and reward in one business. Choose those characteristics that matter most to you. Accept the absence of the others. Plan, 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 and then go for it. That is what I do. I stay away from many others, not because that's what I choose, but it is difficult finding a partner. Second, I plan until I can go for it. Learning about small business operations. Hundreds of would be entrepreneurs ask the same question: how can I learn to run my own business? Here are some hints. All right. Learn from others. Investigate your local community college for classes on small business and entrepreneurship. There are thousands of such programs throughout the United States. Many bring together entrepreneurs from diverse backgrounds who form helpful support networks. Talk to others who have already done it. They'll tell you that location is critical and caution you to not be undercapitalized. That is, not to start without enough money. They'll warn you about the problems of finding and retaining good workers. And most of all, they'll tell you to keep good records and hire a good accountant and lawyer before you start. Free advice like this is invaluable. Where I was at, they weren't doing this. Except for I. They're keeping the lazy people. Going down with the ship. That's me with BK. Suppose your work. Suppose you worked for 2 years in a company and you see signs that is still beginning to falter. That it is beginning to falter. You and your coworker have ideas about how to make a company like your bosses succeed. Rather than share your ideas with your boss, you and your friend are considering quitting your jobs and starting your own company together. Should you approach other coworkers about working for your new venture? Will you try to lure your old boss's customers to your own business? What are your alternatives? What are the consequences of each alternative? What's the most ethical choice? I decided to stay with the ship at BK. I wanted to start my own business in that. And that was my gift to him for allowing me to be an assistant manager and run his company as though it was my own company, to learn what it meant and is like to be a businessman and run it from the startup. That was my gift back to him. That was my payment for what he gave to me and from what I felt that I owed to him. My loyalty, that'd go down with the business with him. Now and then, if we're talking about if you're working with a bad boss, right? By the way, the owner was very cool. So was the store manager and this the another assistant manager. Those three were like very cool. So that's also why I did it. Um, yeah, that was a beautiful work stage. At first, I had a negative point of view, but as I started working, I decided, hey, this isn't too bad actually. This is actually kind of fun. That's probably also the reason why I got distracted with work over school, because it was fun. It was a good experience. It was a good life experience. It was a beautiful life for what it was for those 4 years. I don't really have too many regrets as it is an experience that I would not have had. And for what the time was, so I don't really regret it. I regret how I wasted my free time. My free time, I could have done better stuff. The work stuff was cool. I enjoyed it. My free time after work, staying up late, um, not doing enough studying instead of going to the gym or playing video games or watching cartoons. All right. They'll tell you that location is critical and caution you not to be undercapitalized. That is, not to start without enough money. They'll warn you about the problems of finding good work. Yeah. There is no better way to learn small business management than by becoming an apprentice or working for a successful entrepreneur. Look at that. That's exactly what happened. I worked for a good owner at Burger King, a good store manager at Burger King, a good other assistant manager at that Burger King. There is no better way to learn small business management than becoming an apprentice or working for a successful entrepreneur. They taught me a lot. Like she said, customer service is everything. She was correct about that, and that is what I did. That's why we were very successful. I kind of already knew that, but I never really actually. It's different when someone tells it to you. That's that's older than you or that has been successful, because then it solidifies your idea. The rule of thumb is the rule of thumb is have 3 years experience in a comparable business first. Back in 1818, Cornelius Vanderbilt sold his own sailing vessels and went to work for a steamboat company so that he could learn the rules of the new game of steam. After learning what he needed to know, my voice is getting kind of messed up from reading out loud. I normally don't talk this much. He quit, started his own steamship company, and became the first U.S. business owner to accumulate 100 million. Running a small business part time during your off hours or on weekends can bring the rewards of working for yourself while still enjoying a regular paycheck at another job. It may save you money too because you're then less likely to make rookie mistakes. That's what the owner did. He owned multiple restaurants, but he was also an engineer. It may save you money. It may save you money too because you're less likely to make mistakes. When you start your own business, the Making Ethical Decision box presents ethical questions about using the knowledge you've gained as an employee to start your own business. All right. Take over a successful firm. Small business owners work long hours and rarely take vacations. After many years, they may feel stuck and think they can't get out because they have too much time and effort invested. Thus, millions of small businesses owners are eager to get away and at least for a long vacation. This is where you come in. Find a successful business person who owns a small business. Tell him or her you are eager to learn the business and would like to serve an apprenticeship, that is, a training period. Say that at the end of the training period, 1 year or so, you would like to help the owner or manager by becoming assistant manager. Thus, you can free the owner to take off weekends and holidays and have a long vacation. A good deal for him or her. For another year or so, work very hard to learn all about the business, supplier, inventory, bookkeeping, customers, promotions. All right, all right. Berry instead of very. All right, this is gonna be put in red. All right. Business outright. How do you determine a fair price for a business? Value is based on 1. What the business owns, 2. What it earns, and 3. What makes it unique. Naturally, an accountants will need to help you determine the business value. If you fail at your efforts to take over the business through either profit sharing or buying, you can quit and start your own business fully trained. All right, cool. What was I gonna check out here? There was something I was gonna check out. Just don't remember what. Cool, it doesn't show up there. All right. I was gonna do something. Oh, I remember now. I remember now. Go here. Go there. Managing a small business. Managing a small business. According to the Small Business Administration, one of the major causes of small business failure is poor management. We all know that. I am an amazing manager. All right. Keep in mind, I proved it to you many multiple times over and over again. BK at the center. Before that, Starbucks as a waiter. I went backwards. All right. Keep in mind, I went backwards in time for my employments. Keep in mind, though, that poor management covers a number of faults. It could mean poor planning, record keeping, inventory control, promotion, or employee relations. Most likely, it includes poor capitalization. To help you succeed as a business owner, in the following sections, we explore the functions of business in a small business setting. Planning your business, finance your business, knowing your customers' marketing, managing your employees' human resource development, keeping records, accounting. I'm gonna write that down. Planning your business, financing your business, knowing your customers, all right. Although all the functions are important in both the startup and management phases of business, the first two, planning and financing, are the primary concerns when you start your business. All right. Although all the functions are important in both the startup and management phases of the business, the first two, planning and financing, are the primary concerns when you start your business. The others are the hearts of your operations once the business is underway. Planning, financing, then knowing the customers, managing your employees, and keeping records. Begin with planning. Many people eager to start a small business come up with an idea and begin discussing it with professors, friends, and other business people. At this stage, the entrepreneur needs a business plan. A business plan is a detailed written statement that describes the nature of the business, the target market. All right, the target market, the advantages the business will have over competition, and the resources and qualifications of the owners. All right, business plan is a detailed written statement that describes the nature of the business, the target markets, the advantages the business will have over competition, and the resources and qualifications of the owner. All right, it doesn't work. So I'll go to formats, character. Sure. All right. A business plan forces potential small business owners to be quite specific about the products or services they intend to offer. They must analyze the competition, calculate how much money they need to start, and cover other details of operation. A business plan is also mandatory for talking with bankers or other investors. Lenders want to know everything about an aspiring business. First, pick a bank that serves businesses the size of yours. Have a good accountant prepare a complete set of financial statements and a personal balance sheet. Make an appointment before going to the bank and go to the bank with an accountant and all the necessary financial information. Demonstrate to the banker that you're a person of good character, civic minded, and respected in business and community circles. Finally, ask for all the money you need. Be specific and be prepared to personally guarantee the loan. Before meeting with a bank for business loans, gain cred- credibility, gain credibility. How do you spell that? Credibility. Gains gain credibility with within within the business or and com community circles. Go with an accountant with a prepared complete set of financial statements and personal balance sheet. Shit. I put shit on accident. Balance sheet. Complete set of financial statements and personal balance sheet. Balance sheet. Sure, sure. Oh, that's a shortcut. Okay. All right. Writing a business plan. How many more do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right. All right. A good business plan takes a long time to write, but you've got only 5 minutes. In the executive summary, in the executive summary, to convince readers to not throw it away, since bankers receive many business plans every day, the summary has to catch their interest quickly. All right. There's no such thing as a perfect business plan, but prospective entrepreneurs do think out the smallest details. An outline of comprehensive business plans is shown on page 165 through 166. Many computer software programs can help you get organized. One highly rated business plan program is Business Plan Pro by Palo Alto Software. To see samples of successful business plans for a variety of businesses, go to world3bplans.com. Sample business plans. You can also learn more about writing business plans on the Small Business Administration website at world3sba.gov. Starting getting the complete business plan into the right hands is almost as important as getting the right information into the plan. All right, getting the completed business plan into the right hands is almost as something got my. Right, there we go. As important as important, right? Still don't show me any proof, but okay, man. I just ignore that shit. Our business plans every day. All right, there's no such thing as perfect plan. Oh, okay. So it's almost as important as getting the right information to plan. Finding funding requires research. Next, we discuss sources of money available to new business ventures. All require a comprehensive business plan. The time and effort you invest before starting a business will pay off many times later. The big payoff is survival. All right, getting money to fund a small business. An entrepreneur has several potential sources of capital. An entrepreneur has several potential sources of capital. All right. Personal savings, relatives, former employers, banks, finance companies, venture capitalists, and government agencies such as the Small Business Administration, the Farmers Home Administration, the Economic Development Authority, and the Minority Business Development Agency. The most common source of funding after personal savings is friends and family. You may even want to consider borrowing from a potential supplier to your future business. Helping you get started may be in the supplier's interest if there is a chance you will be a big customer later. This is what Ray Kroc did in the early years of McDonald's. When Kroc didn't have the funds available to keep the company going, he asked his suppliers to help him with the necessary funds. The suppliers grew along with McDonald's. It's usually not. Alright. Outline of a comprehensive business plan. A good business plan is between 25 and 50 years long, pages long. Why so much? All right, a good business plan is between 25 and 50 pages long and takes at least 6 months to write. Wow. Okay. Cover letter. Only one thing is certain when you go hunting for money to start a business. You won't be the only hunter out there. You need to make potential funders want to read your business plan instead of the hundreds of others on their desks. Your cover letter should summarize the most attractive points of your project in as few words as possible. Be sure to address the letter to the potential investors by name. To whom it may concern, or dear sir, is not the best way to win an investor's support. All right. Section 1, Executive Summary. Begin with a 2 page or 3 page management summary. Begin with a 2 page or 3 page management summary. Of the proposed venture. Include a short description of the business and discuss major goals and objectives. What's that, page 165? Um, all right. Can I save this? Probably not. All right. Section 1. All right. Section 2, company background. Describe company operations to date, if any, potential legal considerations, and areas of risk and opportunity. Summarizes the firm's financial condition and include past and current balance sheets, income and cash flow statements, and other relevant financial records. You will read about these financial statements in Chapter 17. It is also wise to include a description of insurance coverage. Investors want to be ensured that death or other mishaps do not pose major threats to the company. Management team. Include an organization chart, job description of listed positions, and detailed resumes of the current and proposed executives. A mediocre idea with a proven management team is funded more often than a great idea with an inexperienced team. Managers should have expertise in all disciplines necessary to start and run a business. If not, mention outside consultants who will serve in those roles and describe their qualifications. Financial plan. Provide 5-year projections for income, expenses, and funding sources. Don't assume the business will grow in a straight line. Adjust your planning to allow for funding in various stages of the company's growth. Explain now, the rotational now, and assumptions used to determine the estimates. Assumptions should be reasonable and based on industry historical trends. Make sure all totals add up and are consistent throughout the plan. If necessary, hire a professional accountant or financial analyst to prepare these statements. Stay clear of excessively ambitious sales projections. Rather, offer best case expected and worst case scenarios. These not only reveal how sensitive the bottom line is to sales fluctuations, but also serve as good management guides. Section 5, capital required, indicates the amount of capital needed to commence or continue operations and describe how these funds are to be used. Make sure the total are the same as the ones on cash flow statement. This area will serve a great deal of review from potential investors, so it must be clear and concise. Don't underestimate the competition. Review industry size, trends, and the target market segment. Sources like American Demographics magazines and the Rand McNally Commercial Atlas and Marketing Guide can help you put a plan together. Discuss strengths and weaknesses of the product or service. The most important things investors want to know are what makes the product more desirable than what's already available and whether the product can be patented. Compare pricing to the competitions. Forecast sales in dollars and units. Outline sales, advertising, promotion, and public relations programs. Make sure the costs agree with those projected in the financial statements. Section 7 Location Analysis. In retailing and certain other industries, the location of the business is one of the most important factors. Providing a comprehensive demographic analysis of consumers in the area of the proposed business, as well as a traffic pattern analysis and vehicular pedestrian counts. They distracted me. They just won't shut up. In retailing and certain other industries, the location of the business is one of the most important factors. Provide a comprehensive demographic analysis of consumers in the area of the proposed business, as well as the traffic pattern analysis and vehicular and pedestrian counts. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 pages left. All right, man. Oh, I got 8 pages left. Man, do I need more coffee? I haven't even drinking this coffee, man. This is kind of late too. Drinking this late. But I managed to get through that section. So far, very good information. Very good information. I do need to read a little bit slower than I usually am, just because I'm really trying to absorb the information and memorize it. Usually, the quicker you read the information, depending how complex or how new it is, you tend to memorize more of the information if you take it slower. There are exceptions, of course. There are some that are able to read and or learn brand new complex informations at quicker pace than others, but they are used to doing that. It's not like they are just magically gifted. They had to do that from an early age. Again, there are some exceptions. Some people are just able to do that, but that's not very highly likely. Usually has to do a lot with your brain development and how you're born, stuff like that. It's kind of like one animal, or let's say one one eagle. Okay, like two eagles, right? Okay, let's do it a little bit more simpler. It's like two lions. One lion is just born bigger with like more developed muscles. And the other one's born smaller, skinnier. There is potential for the skinnier, smaller lion to catch up to the bigger lion by eating protein, hunting, using its muscles more often. But while both lions are doing the same activity, the more developed, more well born lion is gonna also advance just as much. Hold on, I gotta reply something. Joke. I was taking a little break. Little break. More, I got distracted for a little bit. All right. First to 165. All right. Finish this up, right? All right. This is a new page, actually. Good idea to ask such an investor for money at the outset. Begin by asking for advice. If the supplier likes your plan, he or she may be willing to help you with funding too. The credit crunch spurred by the recent financial crisis made it necessary for small business owners to do a little work shopping to find a friendly lender. Many found that smaller community banks were more likely to grant loans than larger regional banks. Since small banks do business in a single town or cluster of towns, they know their customers better. They have more flexibility to make lending decisions based on everything they know about their customers rather than on a more automated basis as larger banks must. All right. Where was I at? All right. The credit crunch spurred by recent financial crisis made it necessary for small business owners to do a little extra shopping to find a friendly lender. Many found that smaller community banks were more likely to grant loans than larger regional banks. Since small banks do business in a single town or a cluster of towns, they know their customers better. They have more flexibility to make lending decisions based on everything they know about their customers rather than on a more automated basis as larger banking must. Community development financial institutions may be a source of funding for businesses in lower income communities. Community Development Financial Institutions, CDFI. Community Development. Community Development Financial Institutions are playing a big role in economic recovery. CDFIs were first formed in the early 1980s by socially motivated investors such as nuns investing their retirement funds. However, in 2009, more than 1 billion flowed into CDFIs from a big investment companies and another 247 million from the government. CDFIs succeeded even after the credit bubble because they maintained the financial discipline other lenders lacked. They have the incentives to make sure their clients succeed because if borrowers don't repay their loans, yeah, I already know that. I'm not dumb. Did you not think that I did not suspect some sort of difference in the usual and the norm? If borrowers don't repay their loans, the CDFIs take the hit, not investors. Only 1% of their loans were not paid back in the last 3 decades. CDFIs don't just loan money. More importantly, they provide business consulting, counseling. Oh man, that coffee's giving me gastric reflux. Such as helping owners learn how to develop marketing strategies, manage inventory, and improve cash flow. Individual investors are also a frequent source of capital for most entrepreneurs. Angel investors are private individuals who invest their own money in potentially hot new companies before they go public. A number of websites match people who want money with those willing to lend it. They include Prosper Marketplace, Zopa, Lending Club, Kiva, Virgin Money, Circle Lending, and Global Funder. Other sites, such as Green Note and People Capital, specialize in lending to students. This form of individual investing is called peer to peer (P2P) lending. A credit-worthy borrower often gets such money faster and easier than going to the bank, and the cost is often less than a bank loan. The social media and business box offers a number of examples of companies that started with P2P loans. Venture capitalists may finance your product for a price. Venture capitalists may ask for a hefty stake in your company, as much as 60% in exchange for the cash to start your business. If the venture capitalist takes too large a stake, he could lose control of the business. Since the widespread failure of early web startups, venture capitalists have been willing to invest less and expect more return on their investment if the new company is sold. Therefore, if you're a very small company, you don't have a very good chance of getting venture capital. You'd have a better chance finding an angel investor. If your proposed venture does require millions of dollars to start, experts recommend that you talk with at least five investment firms and their clients in order to find the right venture capitalist. You may able to connect with potential investors through angelists.com, a nonprofit service that helps entrepreneurs and ventures capitalists get to know each other. To learn more about how to find venture capitalists, visit the National Venture Capitalist. The Small Business Administration (SBA). The Small Business Administration is a U.S. government agency that advises and assists small businesses by providing management training and financial advice and loans. The SBA started a microloan demonstration program in 1991. The program provides very small loans up to 50,000. That's a small loan, and technical assistance to small business owners. It is administered through a nationwide network of nonprofit organizations chosen by the SBA. Rather than award loans based on collateral, credit history or previous business success. The program judges worthiness on belief in the borrower's integrity and the soundness of their business ideas. The SBA microloan program helps people like Ted Cooper, who owns Fresh Look Remodeling, a New York based energy audit business, faced with having off his 6 workers. Cooper searched for a loan to keep the business going. Before Cooper received a 10,000 SBA microloan, he applied to a few big banks, one of which asked for 15,000 worth of collateral. If I had that, I wouldn't have needed to borrow it, Cooper said. The SBA microloan program helps people like Ted Cooper, who owns the Fresh Look Art. You may also want to consider requesting funds from the Small Business Investment Company. You may also want to consider requesting funds from the Small Business Investment Company, SBIC, Small Business Investment Company program. SBICs are private investment companies licensed by the SBA to lend money to small businesses. An SBI must have a minimum of 5 million in capital and can borrow up to $2 from the SBA for each $1 of capital it has. It lends to or invests in small businesses that meet its criteria. Often SBI, small business investment companies, are able to keep defaults in a minimum by identifying a business trouble spots early, giving entrepreneurs advice, and in some cases, rescheduling loan payments. Perhaps the best place for young entrepreneurs to start shopping for an SBA loan is a small business development center, small business development center, small business investment company, small business development center. Yes. SBDCs are, I said that weird. SBDCs are funded jointly by the federal government and individual states and are usually associated with state and community colleges and universities. SBDCs can help you evaluate the feasibility of your idea, develop your business plan, and complete your funding application, all for no charge. The SBA may provide the following types of financial assistance. The SBA may provide the following types of financial assistance: guaranteed loans, loans made by a financial institution that the government will repay if the borrower stops making payments. The maximum individual loan guarantee is capped at 5 million. Microloans, amounts ranging from 100 to 50,000 to people such as single mothers and public housing tenants. Hold on, I got to step away for a bit. All right, I had to step away for a moment. You may also want to consider requesting funds from the small business investment companies. It lends to or invests in a small business that meets its criteria. Often SBIs are able to keep default to a minimum by identifying a business's trouble spots early, giving entrepreneurs advice, and in some cases, rescheduling loan payments. Perhaps the best place for young entrepreneurs to start shopping for an SBA loan is a small business development center. SBDCs are funded jointly by the federal government and individual states. Man, this guy keeps distracting me. Alright, gotta ignore that. Perhaps the best place for young entrepreneurs to start shopping for an SBA loan is a small business development center. SBDCs are funded jointly by the federal government and individual state and are usually associated with state and community colleges and universities. SBDCs can help you evaluate the feasibility of your idea development, develop your business plan, and complete your funding application. The SBA may provide the following types of financial assistance: guaranteed loans, loans made by financial institutes that the government will repay if the borrower stops making payments. The maximum individual loan guarantee is capped at 5 million. Microloans, amounts ranging from 100 to 50,000 of people such as single mothers and public house tenants. Export Express, loans made to small businesses wishing to export. The maximum guaranteed loan amount is 500,000. Community Adjustment and Investment Program, loans to businesses to create new. Sustainable jobs are to preserve existing jobs in eligible communities that have lost jobs due to changing trade partners with Mexico and Canada following the adoption of NAFTA. Loans to alleged pollution control loans, loans to eligible small businesses for the financing of the planning, design, and installation of a population controls facility. This facility must prevent, reduce, abate, or control any form of population of pollution, including recycling. 504 certified development community plans, loans for purchasing major fixing assets. I just noticed that I had my camera up. I doubt I got anything here. Let's see. Pretty sure it's just be me. Should just be me here. Yeah, should just be me here. I like it. All right, put this down. All right, this last one. Typically, rural communities or urban areas needing revitalization. The program's goal is to expand business owners by minorities, women, and veterans. The maximum guaranteed loan is about 1.5. Whoa. Read that again. Loans for purchasing major fixed assets such as land, buildings for businesses in eligible communities, typically rural areas, communities, or urban areas needing revitalization. One, two, three, four, five. Five more. All right. One, two, three, four, five. All right. Almost done. All right. Almost done. All right. Almost done. I like that. The SBA. How long have I been doing this? 2 hours. Not bad. The SBA reduced the size of its application from 150 pages to one page. Whoa, for loans under 50,000. In February 2011, the SBA introduced a new program called Community Advantage and Small Loan Advantage program, which is aimed at providing a simpler and easier way for lenders to make smaller loans to businesses in underserved areas. However, a month later, the House Small Business Committee recommended the SBA budget be cut and no money be used for the new program. Confused? Since government regulations are constantly changing, you may want to go to the SBA's website. Obtaining money from banks, ventures capitalists, and government sources is very difficult for most small businesses. You will learn more about the financing in Chapter 18. Those who do survive the planning and financing of their new ventures are eager to get their businesses up and running. Your success in running a business depends many factors, especially knowing your customers, managing your employees, and keeping good records. One of the most important elements of small business success is knowing the market, which consists of consumers with unsatisfied wants and needs who have both resources and willingness to buy. Most of our students have the willingness to own a brand new Maserati sports car. However, few have the resources necessary to satisfy this want. Would they be a good market for a luxury car dealer? Once you have identified your market and its needs, you must set out to fill those needs. How? Offer top quality at a fair price with great service. Remember, it isn't enough to get customers. You have to keep them. Customer retention. As Victoria Jackson, founder of the 50 Million Company, Victoria Jackson Cosmetics says of the stars who push her products on television in commercials. All the glamorous faces in the world wouldn't mean a thing if my customers weren't happy with the product and didn't come back for more. Everything must be geared to bring customers the satisfaction they deserve. One of the greatest advantages small businesses have is the ability to know their customer better and adapt quickly to their ever changing needs. You will gain more insights about markets in chapter 13 through 16. Now let's consider effectively managing the employees who help you serve your market. Managing employees. As a business grows, it becomes impossible for an entrepreneur to oversee every detail. This means that this means that hiring, training, and motivating employees are critical. It is not easy to find good help when you offer less money, skimpier benefits, and less room for advancements than larger firms do. That's one reason employee relations is important for small business management. Employees of small companies are often more satisfied with their jobs than are their counterparts in big business. Why? Quite often they find their jobs more challenging, their ideas more accepted, and their bosses more respectful. Often entrepreneurs are reluctant to recognize that to keep growing, they must delegate authority to others. Who should have this delegated authority and have much? This can be a particularly touchy issue in small business with long term employees and in family businesses. As you might expect, entrepreneurs who have built their companies from scratch often feel compelled to promote employees who have been with them from the start, even when they aren't. It should be four more. One, two, three, four. All right. That fourth one isn't even all that much. Qualified to serve managers. Common sense tells you this could hurt the business. The idea that you must promote or can't fire people because they're family can also hinder growth. Entrepreneurs best serve themselves and the business if they gradually recruit and groom employees for management positions, enhancing trust and support between them. You'll learn more about managing employees. Small business owners often say the most important assistance they received in starting and managing their business was in accounting. All right, so accounting is important. A business person who sets up an effective accounting system early will save much grief later. Computers simplify record keeping and enable a small business owner to daily follow sales, expenses, and profits. In an inexpensive computer system can also help owners with inventory control, customer records, and payroll. Many business failures are caused by poor accounting practices that lead to costly mistakes. A good accountant can help you decide whether to buy or lease equipment and whether to own or rent a building. He or she may also help you with tax planning and financial forecasting, choosing sources of financing, and writing requests for funds. Other small business owners may tell you where to find an accountant. Experienced in small businesses, it pays to shop around for advice. You'll learn more about accounting in Chapter 17. Small business owners have learned, sometimes the hard way, that they need outside consulting advice early in the process. This is especially true of legal, tax, and accounting advice, but also of marketing, finance, and other areas. Most small and medium sized firms can't afford to hire much experts as employees, so they must turn to outside assistance. All right. All right, it was. I could I could do it. I could say it in my head, but I want to actually get it all right. Legal tax. Most small and medium sized firms cannot afford to hire such experts as employees, so they must turn to outside assistance. And necessary and invaluable aid is a competent, experienced lawyer who knows and understands small businesses. Lawyers can help with leases, contracts, partnership agreements, and protections against liabilities. All right. They don't have to be expensive. In fact, several prepaid legal plans offer services such as drafting legal documents for a low annual rate. Of course, you can find plenty of legal services online. The SBA offers plain English guides and mini tutorials that will help you gain a basic understanding of the laws that affect each phase of the life of a small business. All right. Findforms.com offers a search tool that helps you find free legal forms from all over the web, as well as advice, links, books. Sure, sure, whatever. Remember, free isn't a bargain. If the information isn't correct, so check the sources carefully and double check any legal actions with an attorney. Make your marketing decisions long before you introduce a product or open a store. An expensive marketing research study may help you determine where to locate. Make your marketing decisions long before you introduce a product or open a store. An expensive marketing research study may help you determine where to locate, whom to select as your target market, and what is an effective strategy to reaching it. One mistake, not bad. Control M. All right. Three more. Thus, a marketing consultant with a small business experience can be a great help to you, especially one who has had experience with the internet and social media. Two other invaluable experts are a commercial loan officer. All right. Thus, a marketing consultant with small business experiences can be of great help to you, especially one who has had experience with the internet and social media. Two other invaluable experts are a commercial loan officer and an insurance agent. Two other invaluable experts. Two other invaluable experts are a commercial loan officer. Two other invaluable experts are a commercial loan officer and an insurance agent. All right. The commercial loan officers an unacceptable can help you design an acceptable business plan, give you valuable financial advice as well as lend you money when you need it. An insurance agent will explain all the risks associated with a small business and how to cover them most effectively with insurance and other means like safety devices and sprinkler systems. An important source of information for small business is the Service Corps of Retired Executives. The SBA office has more than 10,500 volunteers from industry, trade associations, and education who consult small businesses at no cost, except for expenses. You can find a SCORE counselor by logging on to world3score.com. The SBA also offers a free comprehensive online entrepreneurship course. All right. Often business processors from local colleges, from local colleges will advise small business owners free or for a small fee. Some universities have clubs or programs that provide consulting. I thought I'd get that information for free. All right, man. Guess not. Some universities have clubs or programs that provide consulting services by Master of Business Administration candidates for a normal fee. The University of Maryland and Virginia Tech have internship programs that pair MBA students with budding companies and local incubator programs. The incubator companies pay half the intern's salary, which is around 20 an hour. This was a long time ago too. Must be higher now. It is also wise to seek the counsel of other small business owners. The website youngentrepreneur.com offers experienced entrepreneurs and young startups an open forum to exchange advice and ideas. Visitors have access to articles on marketing, business planning, incorporation, and financial management. That's important. Visitors have access to articles on marketing. Visitors have access to articles on marketing, business planning, incorporation, and financial management. All right. Often, business professors from small colleges. Often, business professors from SoCal colleges will advise. Okay. That. Other sources of counsel include local chambers of commerce, the Better Business Bureau, national and local trade associations, the business reference section of your library, and many small business related sites on the internet. Some can match your consulting needs with the proper consultant like company expert. All right. Goal 5. All right. As we noted in chapter 3, there are over 310 million people in the United States, but more than 6.9 million people in the world. Obviously, the world market is a much larger, more lucrative market for small businesses than the United States alone. In spite of the potential, many small businesses still do not think globally. Only 1% of small businesses now export, but half are expected to engage in global trade by 2015. Some small businesses are well on their way to meeting those expectations. Small and medium sized business accounted for 99% of growth in exporting firms in recent years. Technological advances have helped increase small business exporting. PayPal makes it possible for small businesses to get paid automatically when they conduct global business online. The internet also helps small businesses find customers without the expenses of international travel. As people acquire more wealth, they often demand specialized products that are not mass produced and are willing to pay more. Dave Hammond, inventor and founder of Wizard Vending, began to push his gumball machine into the global market via a website. in the site's first year. He sold machines in Austria, Belgium, and Germany. The nearby reaching beyond our border box offers examples of entrepreneurs who are thriving in emerging markets. Still, many small businesses have difficulty getting standard started in global business. Why are so many missing the boat to the huge global markets? Primarily primarily because the voyage includes a few major hurdles. Financing is often difficult to find. Would be exporters don't know how to get started and don't understand the culture difference between markets, and the bureaucratic paperwork can threaten to bury a small business. Beside the fact that most of the world's markets lies outside of the United States, there are other good reasons for going global. Exporting can absorb excess inventory, soften downturns in the domestic market, and extend product lives. It can also spice up dull routines. Small business have several advantages over large businesses. International trade. Overseas buyers often enjoy dealing with individuals rather than with larger corporate bureaucracies. Small companies can usually begin shipping much faster. I'm pretty much going to be done. Small companies can provide a wide variety of suppliers. Small companies can give customers personal service and undivided attention because each overseas account is a major source of business to them. A good place to start finding information about exporting is the Department of Commerce, Bureau of Industry. Whoa, that's a huge S. And Security. Department of Commerce, Bureau of Industry and Security. Department of Commerce, CIS. Department of Commerce's Bureau of Industry and Security. Other sources include the SBA's list of international business. Other sources include the SBA's list of international business resources. The SBA's Export Express Loan Program provides export financing financing opportunities for small businesses. The program is designed to finance a variety of needs of small businesses exporters, including participation in foreign trade shows, catalog translations for use in foreign markets, lines of credit for export purposes, and real estate and equipment for the production of goods and services. Reaching beyond our borders, emerging markets, emerging entrepreneurship. A good entrepreneur finds a need in the market and fills it with a new business. For emerging markets, entire industries and services are wide open for innovation given the technological advances of the past few decades. The amount of resources required to start a business venture in emerging markets is often lower now than in the past. These factors are contributing to an entrepreneur revolution in many developed nations. These factors are contributing to an entrepreneur revolution in many developing nations. All right, the amount of resources required is less now, which leads to the entrepreneur's revolution of developing nations. And the growth isn't just occurring in markets that economists have been watching for years, like India and Brazil. In Lebanon's capital of Beirut, for instances, Christine Siffer opened the country's first Dunkin' Donut at age 22. More than 10 years later, Siffer now owns third locations throughout Lebanon. Stories like Siffer's are becoming more common as educated professionals hailing from the Middle East, Africa, and Southwest Asia return home with global experience and credentials. Many entrepreneurs holds developing world hold degrees and have worked at a high level companies like Toyota and Pepsi. Opportunities for growth are so vast in emerging markets that entrepreneurs must often expand into different areas of business in order for their first venture to grow. When Aisha Nato wanted to expand her high-end eyewear chain in Saudi Arabia, the company's first had to build a lens manufacturing plant just to keep up with demand. Not only did this help grow the business, it also provided Nato and her employees with knowledge about several fields of business. Such a wide range of expertise almost ensures that entrepreneurs' expansions in developing world should continue for years to come. And I am done. I should check this out, but all right. Now then, that is it for the stream. Since I finished the chapter 6, 5 and 6 in a week, I could have read more. I should be able to read more than one or two chapters in this upcoming week. But it's also good for me to go back and write down the notes again and test myself some more on my knowledge. With that, that is the end of the stream. And we will see each other at another day. Let us go ahead and end this.